A big thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring this week's video. If you need a website or a domain, go to squarespace.com/James for 10% off your first purchase.
Hello everybody and welcome to the Lake District, more specifically Rydal Water, where we've got about 3 hours until Mass has to be back at Manchester Airport for his flight back to Denmark. We have got 1 hour to do some photography and we're all going to run off, I assume in different conditions, that's the wrong word, it's too early, different directions, that's the word, and we'll see what we get. Yeah, it's the aim of the game. Let's do that one more time. Different conditions. So I can't for the life of me remember what I said in that intro because I've not had a coffee, but I'm suspecting that these guys are going to head that way towards the lake, whereas I am going to go this way and then sort of around that bridge to the village first off, I think, and see what I get there.
Neither of those guys decided to tell me about the string on my hat, which is nice of them. And yes, as you can see, I'm a complete mess in the mornings.
Right, well, lack of coffee aside, my biggest problem, I think, at the moment is that the roads are already nice and wet, but I still don't think it's quite light enough to be using my polarizer and hand holding. So, that's a bit of a problem for the next 20 minutes or so, maybe. I shall try and stay very still when taking photos. Right, I've got a couple of spots in mind for this village, but given that we've only got an hour, I've not got any time to go wrong, so I think it's best I continually consult the map further up here. Oh yes. You're not going to believe this, but I might actually use a tripod here. It's just too dark. And Mass and Nigel will find it hilarious that I'm using a tripod. The amount of time I bang on about hating them, but needs must. It's raining. How's that? It's actually a very contrasty scene, so I might bracket here. And I've just noticed that there's a leaf clipping the top of this lamppost, well, seemingly. That's what I hate about tripods. Anytime you notice something like that, it's a right pain to just shift your composition slightly. One thing I hate about tripods, I should say. Far from the only thing. Right, the sky's catching, so one last composition. Something like that. Okay. A lot of the time when people ask me about my tripod hatred, I think they think I'm joking, but no, I'm not joking. I completely understand their use and I appreciate them when they need to be used, but any time I can get away with not using them, I do, because I find them so cumbersome. And I honestly wonder how people enjoy the use of them. But each to their own, which is very much the case in all aspects of photography, I think. Hence why I'm in a village and the other two are down at the lake, looking for a footpath. Ooh. Oh. Right, we're about 20 minutes in and I've only got one shot, so not great so far. I don't know how the other guys are doing.
Don't know why he's running.
But I am off to find a waterfall. We agreed to do this challenge at Rydal last night, so I had a quick look at what there was to shoot around Rydal. There was a nice looking waterfall, which is not typically my style, but you'll see why I like the look of this one if I can find it. Not that way. Oh yes, that's what I'm talking about. Now can you get down there? Oh, bellissimo! Look at that. Even that's pretty. Locked. No. Why is there a sign like that on such a pretty door? Completely ruins the scene. Nonsense. Right, gonna do all the Instagram tricks. I'm gonna pick up some leaves and throw them in front of the camera. Ready? Managed to capture absolutely no leaves then, somehow. As much as I'm sure there are a million compositions in these lovely gardens, when you've only got an hour in a challenge like this, you focus on the low-hanging fruit. And a shot from that bridge is definitely that. I'm gonna find my way out this way. Right, I'm looking for an unobstructed view of the hut and the waterfall. When I say unobstructed, I mean that these leaves don't get in the way of those things, but do add to the scene. And I can't quite see a spot like that, really. If I come too far this way, these trees get in the way of the waterfall. Too far this way, and that tree and this foliage down here gets in the way of the hut. Luckily, I think it's bright enough now that I can do away with the tripod and work much more quickly. Right, leave that there. Here will do for a first shot. Well, that was 25th of a second, handheld and sharp, but I don't like that there's no separation between the hut and the waterfall. Whereas from sort of here, you do get that. I think what I might do is stand on here. Any sign saying I can't stand on here? Not that I can see. Just gotta be careful. Okay, this is about as good as we're gonna get, I think. Which isn't too bad. Right, let's go and find somewhere else. By the way, I took a load of shots then that were about, I don't know, 1/8 of a second, just to try and get some more movement in the water. If they work, but the hut isn't sharp doing that, then I'll just blend the two images together. That's pretty nice. By the way, talking of blending images together, I've just looked at a shot and I don't need to, because this shot, which was taken at 1/6 of a second, has the exact kind of water movement that I want, and the hut is tack sharp. So that's a right result. Means I don't have to faff around for ages in Photoshop. And it's raining. Where can I shoot while it rains? Let's go back into the village. There could be some nice light coming out there, but the question is, when you've only got an hour, how long do you wait at places? Typically not long. Oh. Too fat to get through there with a photography bag on. Even with it off. No idea why I bought this bag. All the shots so far have been with my 24-70. Carrying around pointless weight. That way or that way. Doesn't look like many of those trees have turned. So let's go to the road and to the lake. I felt like a real missed opportunity. I had a good view down that road and I could see that Land Rover, or whatever it was, coming from quite a distance, and I wish I'd slowed my shutter speed to get some movement in it. It would have looked like a much more dynamic shot if I'd have done that. Check this out for a puddle. Pretty dangerous place to stand if you ask me. I'm going to get soaked in a minute. Luckily these drivers are being nice. Oh, shot before the lorry. Yeah. Well, I'd like to thank all the previous drivers for not doing that. Okay, this could be the part of the challenge where I start running. I don't know what there is to shoot around here really. I know there's a boathouse somewhere. I don't know how far along it is. Okay, here is the boathouse. And ordinarily, as you'd expect, people go and find somewhere a bit further along the lake to shoot it from. But given that there's no reflection, because it's super windy, I'm wondering actually whether you're better off shooting it from a more intimate place like this. Ew. Make sure there's some separation between that tree and the building. Get underneath this tree so that I can get a clear roof line. Okay, focus on the boathouse, bracketing again. Something like that, maybe. Anyway, let's go and try and see if there is a view of some sort, and then I really will need to run back. Whew. No, there's a spit here, but I've not got time to go any further, so let's go back. I mean, they're definitely not the right cars, but that's more what I had in mind.
Just in time, just in time.
Literally made it on the minute.
Yes, I did get back just in time, and I really enjoy challenges like that because sometimes if I don't have like a time limit enforced on me, I get a little bit lethargic with my photography, and I don't know that I make the most of my time in terms of finding things to take photos of. I sort of amble from one place to the next until there's no light left, basically. Whereas doing this, it makes sure that I quicken my pace somewhat. Now, I would definitely recommend checking out both Mass and Nigel's videos from this place. They both made fantastic videos, and they've both got very different styles of photography to me, so well worth taking a look at, particularly because they went somewhere completely different. I mean, we were in the same area, but they went to the lake, and so well worth checking out. Then, I mean, I imagine most of you know who they are already, but if you don't, their channels are below. And finally, a big thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring this week's video. I'm just uploading the images, some of my favourite images from this trip to the Lake District on my website, and it's a very simple process of basically drag and drop. And Squarespace take care of all the things like resizing and making sure that the images look great on all kinds of different devices so that I don't have to worry about that. It's a fantastic service, and I would highly recommend it if you're a photographer looking for somewhere to showcase your work online. And these images that I'm putting on my website, there may well be a video to surround them, might be the next video, but the SD card in my GoPro corrupted halfway through the trip, which means I might have trouble kind of piecing together the video if I've got a massive lack of footage, so we'll see. But I'm very happy with the images I got, and very happy that I have somewhere online to show them in a way that I want them to be seen, and I don't have to worry about things like compression as you do on social media sites. So yeah, as I say, if you're a photographer, definitely check out Squarespace, and you can do so by going to squarespace.com to start a free trial, and after that, if you'd like to make a purchase, you'll get 10% off that first purchase by going to squarespace.com/James. So yes, a massive thank you to Squarespace for their continued support and for making brilliant products. And next week will either be a video from the Lake District if I can piece together enough footage. If not, I'll probably be back here in Wales taking photos again of orange leaves, because autumn is now in full swing and it's amazing. So I'll see you then, hopefully with no sort of string on my hat.